Hi, and welcome everybody to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. You're watching the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. My name is Ross Benjamin, and like every Thursday, and it is Thursday, the 21st of March, the first full day of the NCAA tournament. How exciting. I am joined by Mr. Doug Upstone of DocSports.com, and I am of GamblersWorld.net, which is our sponsor site. Folks, don't forget, over at GamblersWorld.net right now, still time to get in, $199 from any handicapper at gamblersworld.net. And there's only 10 of us, 10 real good ones. You'll get the entirety of the college basketball NCAA tournament, CBI, NIT, and CIT from all of us. So great special going on there, just $199. But without further ado, Mr. Upstone, it's March Madness officially to me today.
Yes, I agree. And it's, and it's fun. Well, the next 4 days, wall-to-wall basketball, so nothing wrong with that. And a lot of excitement, a lot of intrigue, and, likely a good amount of upsets, okay, from that. So that's always fun. And, it's just a wonderful time of year. Okay. Let's just face it. It just is. It's just, it brings so much joy and excitement to people, and people get together and have a good time and, and give each other a bunch of crap about stuff. So it's just a lot of fun. But hey, you know what? Besides this, though, we still have other sports going on then too. And there's still opportunity to make money on some of these other sports. So just, for example, for me, NHL best bets, 20-7. Okay, run. I mean, that's 74%, almost $8,000 worth of profit on that, according to Docs. And then tonight I actually have a NBA 6-unit best bet going tonight. There's something that I found extreme value on that. And then college basketball, the couple of the games that I picked have already started, but I still got 3 picks available for Wednesday for Thursday. And so here we go, Ross. Let's get it started. Let's get it rolling. I know we got some great free picks to talk about. How about now? What do you got going? Speaking of different things that people could take a look at, what do you got on the board today?
Yeah, thank you for asking, Doug. I have 3 picks up right now. Still time to get in on my early game on Thursday's card, and then I got another one. It's in the 7:00 window, and another one in the late window. So you want to get in and get off to a good start to the NCAA tournament. That's the way to go. And don't forget, like I alluded to, $199 will get you my entirety of March Madness, and that includes not only the NCAA tournament, but the NIT, CBI, and CIT as well. And 3-1 the other night in college basketball with the NIT and NCAA tournament. Took it on the chin last night as Boise State had a 4-point lead with less than 3 minutes to play and lost the game last night. But it is what it is. We bounce back today. And don't forget, folks, keep an eye on my college basketball totals. They've been on fire since March 10th of 2022. That's over a 2-year period. I'm hitting 62% of those plays. My NBA sides are around 60%. Since April 11th of last year. So a lot of good things going on over at gamblersworld.net. And don't forget, folks, when you purchase, not only for myself or anybody else at gamblersworld.net, you get our personal guarantee. If you don't win, you don't make a profit on any subscription plan of 30 days or fewer, or any single game or multi-game daily package, we will credit your account back the exact amount of your purchase price. And more times than not, that's a moot point, but it gives you some self-assurance that we're going to back our product up, and that's how confident we are. All right. So in any event, Doug, we're going to be talking 2 Friday games in the NCAA tournament and 2 really good matchups, both taking place in Memphis, Tennessee. You're going to be looking at number 8 seed, Nebraska taking on number 9 seed Texas A&M, and which shapes up to be a very intriguing matchup. I'm real interested in what you have to say in that regard. And I'm going to be looking at number 11 seed New Mexico, coming off a 4-day tournament in the Mountain West, in which they won 4 games in 4 days, I should say, taking on Clemson, who's the number 6 seed. So let's start with you. All right, Nebraska right now is a 1-point favorite. The total in this game is 147. I looked at this game, and I'm going to have a winning total on this game that I'm going to have up later this afternoon over at gamblersworld.net. But in terms of the side, Doug, and I believe you're probably going to speak to that, if I know you well enough. So, but the bottom line is that this is a tough one. Nebraska, they've been a homer all year. If you look at their home and away splits and even their neutral site splits, they've been very good at home and not so much on the road, even though they showed slight improvement down the stretch. And Texas A&M is a team that's just 20-14, but they played a killer schedule. So, which ranks amongst the toughest in the country, according to KenPom. Take it away, my friend.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of different ways to look at this game. And one of the first things that I thought of, and this was before I looked at anything, the other night, I just saw the matchup. And one of the things I quickly realized, a huge rebounding disparity between these two teams. Texas A&M comes in with a +9 rebound average, and they average, not this is crazy, only Houston's in the same ballpark. They average 15 offensive rebounds a game. Okay, so that's just amazing. Now Nebraska, in their losses this year, they were out rebounded by more than 8 rebounds per game. So basically what we're talking about here, at least in my opinion, got a physical team versus a finesse team. Then I started to look at the offensive numbers, okay? And I've seen these teams play at least 4 to 5 times each this year. Aggies average 74 points per game, but it's not because of how they shoot the ball, that's for sure. 40% less than 40% from the field, less than 30% from behind the arc. So their offensive rebounding is what gets them their points, okay, by and large. The problem here is, though, they're facing a Nebraska team that is far more proficient on offense. They run what I would call a very efficient offense if you watch them play under Fred Hoiberg, who's a very good offensive coach, by the way. And they have multiple players that can, hit from deep. And then also I like how they run their cuts to the basket, and they get a lot of layups off of those cuts. So they're very efficient on offense. And this one, Ross, I'm going to go with the children of the corn on this one. They are 9-2 versus teams that force less than 12 turnovers a game after the 15 point, or basically the 15 games, basically the midpoint of the season, while the Aggies are 1-9 on the road after scoring 80 or more points in 3 straight games. So I'm going to give the -1. I know you're going to ask me for the money line, and I'm not biting, but even with that, so give me Nebraska -1. Over Texas A&M.
Boy, oh boy, biting your nose off to spite your face rather than giving in to my theory. But anyway, Nebraska -1 over Texas A&M. Yeah, when I looked at this matchup, I'm looking at the analytics over at KenPom on Texas A&M, and you alluded to this. Terrible with 2-point and 3-point shooting. Actually, 352nd out of 362 Division I teams when it comes to the 3-point shooting, 303 out of 362 teams when it comes to 2-point shooting. And you alluded to their rebounding prowess. Well, yeah, I mean, they're number 1 in the country, according to KenPom, in offensive rebounding. I guess when you miss a lot of shots, you get a lot of opportunities to try to get offensive rebounds. And lo and behold, give them credit. I mean, they get offensive rebounds on 42.8% of their missed shots, which is right up there. And they're number 47 in free throw attempts too, which I think a lot of that, Doug, has to do with, like you said, the physicality, the offensive rebound, second chance opportunities, which a lot of times if it's a rebound underneath, it ends up being a foul and a follow-up. So, yeah, there's, again, Nebraska – number 38 offensively at KenPom. My concern with them is defensively, but, somebody's got to come away with a win in this game. It looks like a contrast. I don't want to say contrast the styles, but one team is very good offensively in Nebraska. The other team doesn't shoot the ball well. And then, again, the concern I have with Nebraska is they're in the 200s when it comes to offensive and defensive rebounding. So if they could somewhat neutralize Texas A&M on the offensive glass, I think they'll have an excellent opportunity to win this game, Doug. So, but any event, Nebraska is Doug's pick, and he says, hell with the money line. I'm just going to go -1 over Texas A&M, and we're good with that. because it's Mr. Upstone. That's why. The only reason why. All right. I am going to look at New Mexico and Clemson. And New Mexico is the number 11 seed, and Clemson is number 6. And lo and behold, the number 11 seed is a 2.5-point favorite over the number 6. So what am I about to say, Doug? Think like a odds maker, because you got a number 11 seed as favorite over a number 6 seed in the first round game. Many people will use a simple approach in the obvious thought process of, you're going to give me an underdog that's a higher seed. Not only a higher seed, there's a 5-number disparity between the seeds, 11 and 6. Well, it's never that easy. I shouldn't say it's never that easy, but more times than not, when it looks that easy in sports betting, it normally is. Okay, so New Mexico, this is a team that went into the Mountain West Conference tournament with no assurances of making the NCAA tournament. As a matter of fact, if you follow Joe Lunardi, they were in doubt of making the NCAA tournament, even though they advanced to the conference championship game. And they left it out of the committee's hands because they won 4 games in 4 days, the last 3 of which came against teams that were part of the NCAA tournament or were invited to the NCAA tournament. And most impressive part of what I saw in the Mountain West Conference tournament, Doug, was their attention to detail on the defensive end of the floor. Mm-hmm. This was a New Mexico team that played extremely fast all year long. As a matter of fact, you look at the analytics over at KenPom, and they're top 10 in terms of offensive tempo. Usually when that occurs, it hurts your defensive statistics because now you're giving the other team a lot more offensive possessions per game. However, during the 4 conference tournament games, I don't know what Pitino told his team, okay? But the bottom line is he had to have some kind of detail when it came to defense, and they've certainly turned it on in the 4 games in the Mountain West Conference tournament against really good competition. 61.3 points per game and 34.4% shooting they held the opposition to, which is much better than their season averages. Clemson's one of those teams that started out like a house on fire. They started out 8-0. They went 13-11 the rest of the way. They had a really impressive run in the non-conference portion of their schedule, going 5-0 actually against non-conference teams that qualified for the NCAA tournament or were invited to the NCAA tournament. However, they lost 3 of their last 4. And not only did they lose 3 of their last 4, they lost 3 of the last 4 to teams that didn't even make the NCAA tournament in Notre Dame, Boston College, and Wake. And which really bothersome to me is their performance in the ACC quarterfinal when they faced Boston College and got blown out 76-55. So right now, I'm just going to say I'm going to take the team that has the most momentum. I am also going to think like an odds maker here. And I think New Mexico, and again, I know this is going to tick off some people out there. New Mexico plays in a better conference this season. The Mountain West, to me, 6 teams going to the tournament. The ACC, 4. And if it wasn't for NC State making a run to win the tournament, it would have been 3. So I'm going to go with New Mexico here. I'm going to lay the 2.5 here against Clemson. You know why I'm not taking the money line? Because it's over -140, Doug. So there you have it.
All right. Good to know on that one. You know, this Clemson deal with under Brad Burnell, their coach. I mean, this is like a movie. It's kind of like Groundhog's Day. For those that might remember that old movie, it's the same thing every year. They start off fast. Okay. They get into ACC play. They're maybe a little bit above average. And then all of a sudden they get to, whether it be the conference tournament or the ACC tournament, don't do much. The last time they actually did anything of value was the 2017-18 tournament when they got to the Sweet 16, but essentially not much sense. You know, and you brought up a good point about the New Mexico defense. And there's 2 thoughts I have in that and watching them play during the tournament. Number one is that they were so efficient on offense. And so what Pitino, to me, got them to do was they got back on defense. So they scored, they hustled back, and they were able to set up their defense the way they wanted to. And then the players bought in and did the job. And so I think that gives them just a lot of confidence. And one of the things that, besides momentum, which is always a good thing, New Mexico has absolutely outstanding guard play. Okay, I mean, they get two former NBA fathers. Okay, the two of the players on their team. They are very good defensively when they want to be. Offensively, they're first class. So I think this team is ready to go. I agree with you, Ross. And the other thing too, New Mexico plays, especially this season, best when they're rolling. And this team is 12-2 against the spread after beating the spread in 2 or more consecutive games this season. So give me the Lobos, okay? All the way to Albuquerque, baby. Here we go. And Mexico gets the job done and moves on to the round of 32.
It's always nice when you agree with me. I sleep well at night. I go into matchups more confident when you agree with me, Doug. It just,
I'm sure that is.
And I think maybe I'm going to have a talk with Kim, your wife, and say that, maybe you start agreeing with my boy Doug a little more and the household discussions and life gets better, but anyway.
I think that's actually the other way around.
Okay. I was going to suggest that too.
And suggest to me that I should be the one that goes along more with things. Maybe that would make that better.
Yeah.
And I think you already know the answer to that as with Mrs. Benjamin, if you will. I think I know that story as well. So
yes,
nice
absolutely.
try, I give it to you. Good try.
A happy household is a household in which the woman is happy. It's a bottom line. That's it, man. And you know what? Look, us being in the business we're in, we're blessed to have wives that we have because they put up with a lot. And they put up with us having to be working at times of the year like this, 10 to 12 hours a day. So it's certainly hard for us to find a balance between family and business, but we have done so. And anyway, folks, getting back to the material at hand, Doug likes Nebraska -1 over Texas A&M. I like New Mexico. The number 11 seed is a 2.5-point favorite over the number 6 seed. They're begging you to take the underdog. Take New Mexico -2.5 over Clemson. I'll be back tomorrow with Jesse Schule and Sean Higgs. It'll be our live show at 1:00 Eastern time. Chance for you guys to chime in with all your questions and comments. And again, we'll have some results in from today, and we'll be discussing those tomorrow. And we'll have 3 picks on Saturday's round of 32 in the NCAA tournament tomorrow. And again, that's 1:00 Eastern time. Doug will be back with me on Monday, and we'll be talking Sweet 16, buddy. So look forward to that. Doug, have a great weekend. Knock 'em dead, my friends. For all of you out there, for Doug Upstone and Ross Benjamin, we'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care and God bless, folks.